As if it isn't already blatantly obvious, what besides Sonic the Hedgehog inspired you to become an artist?
I was absolutely obsessed with the movie Fantasia as a kid, and it has made me obsessed with sequential art and loud colors ever since. The Disney afternoon cartoons were also integral to my upbringing. Then, of course, Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball happened.
What's the earliest drawing you remember making?
Cheesy Sonic fan comics, of course. I thought I was so damn clever mixing a blue marker and a purple marker to make a dark radical Sonic blue. I mimicked Patrick Sponzente pretty extensively.
Favorite person, place, things to draw?
Aim? Anything with a whole bunch of rocks and cracks, as it is therapeutic as hell to draw. Flowers.
If you never learned to draw, what do you think your alternative full-time job would be?
It would very likely be music. Music was always integral to me, but I never got access to anything that could really help there until a significantly later age.
What inspired you to develop a webcomic?
My favorite stories involve Girl versus the Wild, but the girl isn't perfect and their sexuality is not waved off. Armored Edge 3, specifically Polymatrix, the original OVA, and Witchblade are among my favorite anime series because of this. I'm telling a story I largely would want to see in the first place.
Who are your favorite artists, any genre?
Patrick Spaziente was my absolute favorite growing up, well known for the Archie Sonic comic covers. Traditional artists, I'm a gigantic sucker for Monet. Current artists, the most influential by far would be both Rui Arezumi and Takehito Harada.
Do you have any drawings you think you regret? If so, what do you do with them when done?
I regret nothing because bad drawings have to happen to make good drawings in the future. If related to something terrible, I find solace in the fact I did what I felt was right. At the time, anyway. I'm not going to regret the Rurouni Kenshin fan art I did just because the creator is the worst, discovered well after the fact.
What are some recommended tools, digital or physical, you think any artist or any new artist should look into owning or using?
Clip Studio Paint is absolutely mandatory, honestly. I also think a screen tablet is vital. From a physical standpoint, the 5mm Pentel mechanical pencils are forever friends.
Although many people say either one way or the other, when it comes to artistic talent, being taught versus self-taught, do you have a preference, and if so, which do you prefer?
No strong preference. I only wish I had more resources as a kid. I'm pretty envious of people who had the full-blown internet age from the get-go when learning how to draw. I think the internet alone is a huge, amazing thing when it comes to this.
Although you have an anthropomorphic speciality, are there any humans or pretty boys/girls you prefer to draw?
If left to my own devices, I'd probably draw horned ladies with elf ears all damn day. But really, I wish I had the time to just draw a bunch of skies of Arcadia fan art. Vice would be the pretty boy human I'd fixate on, to be honest.
I've often known many artists to have life insurance as well as health insurance, but I'm very curious, why exactly is it that a lot of pen and paper digital artists don't insure their hands? Have you ever considered insuring your hands?
'Cause artists be poor as fuck. That registers at $300 a month pretty easily for a $500,000 policy. And insurance companies are pretty motivated to take your money and run on any technicality. In a just world, in a non-garbage country, this would be a non-issue either way. They just repair your damn hands.
If there is one company you could draw for the rest of your life for, who would it be and what would you draw?
I don't talk about it much, but Sanrio is high-octane happy fuel for me. The Sanrio X Sonic collaboration a few years ago is everything I ever dreamed of. I would want to work for Sega drawing cute Chao and potentially Sonic bullshit all day. Chao anything would be nice.
An artist's favorite drawing and their clients' or associates' favorite drawings are rarely ever the same. For the sake of a laugh, what would you say is the artwork you're most proud of, XXX or not? And what would you say is the artwork that your significant other/spouse thinks is your best work?
My favorite drawings are likely the AIM and Theodora Pizza Slut ones. I feel I did everything right with those, and I polished them up real nice. My significant other really likes one of the AIM tentacle pictures in particular. The one where she's upside down.
How do you decide what brands of software and physical items to use when you begin drawing? Are there some brands you think are superior and the world needs to know about?
Clip Studio Paint, by far. Best bang for the buck, best resources. For a Surface tablet, the best bang for the buck is a Surface Pro tablet, easily. You basically have a little laptop as well. I could rant all day on what an overpriced mess Mac products tend to be. As for physical stuff, Sakura Micron pens and Pentel pencils are cheap classics for a good reason.
As far as your comic is concerned, have you considered potentially hiring vocal talent to create audio drama content or to voice certain strips within the comic?
I've only ever considered cheesy stuff like music videos, honestly.
What needs to happen for someone like you to have a crossover with any other webcomic artist or writer's characters?
I would approach that very cautiously and in a way that would be fairly subtle. I've done it. It's always just been subtle, like they're in the video game a character is playing.
Although it's become commonplace for people to commission their own custom fan artwork material via t-shirts or digital painting, how would you feel if you had an artwork being mass-produced and commissioned without seeking a license from you? Is that something you support or something you flat out detest?
Commissioned? No big. Selling? Flat out detest. I don't sell any fan art I've made based on smaller projects, Deltarune for example, on merchandise myself for this very reason. If you're a big old corporation, I could care less, of course.
If you could ask your favorite artist of all time one question, what would it be?
Please teach me how to design hair and outfits.
Is there any particular reason you don't have a fan Q&A section? I'm well aware you've mentioned for many years that you're shy, but I feel like maybe if you don't have to show your face, which you don't have to technically, you might have an interest in attempting it.
Never felt I'd really get a big response, honestly. Maybe as things get better and I work harder.
We're all aware that at the drop of a hat, any website can alter or completely remove people's artwork, whether they do XXX things or not. In your opinion, do you feel like artists are responsible for archiving their own stuff? Or should they simply keep it online, assuming as long as they don't get any particular TOS violation, it will remain in place?
Absolutely archive your stuff. 3 times over if you can. But I feel if you violate a TOS, they should just disable it somehow, as opposed to deleting it. That way you could retrieve it, especially in the strong digital-only age.
Do you have a favorite fan?
KG Radley immediately comes to mind. Best cheerleader, longtime friend. There's a lot of people I consider super integral to my support system there, though.
Although you mentioned you do not often take clients or even mention when you're available to do it, what is a comic book and video game you would love to draw cover art for?
I would love to do stuff for smaller video game projects that have moved me considerably. Things like Fury, Lena's Inception, or Anodyne. They all have solid illustrations, but nothing quite on the scale of a full-blown decked-out cover last I checked, if that makes sense.
Do you have to share any of your drawing equipment with your children, or have they learned to make sure they steer clear of any and all material because you're the sole owner and user?
I lost a considerable amount of my childhood raising my brothers, so I'm pretty dead set against kids, for a variety of reasons. That said, I let people I trust handle my stuff. Anyone I feel would happily replace it if something happens to it, basically.